fueled and ready to launch GPS-2F5, the fifth next-generation global positioning system satellite for the United States Air Force.
Range, go for launch. Roger, go for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Atlas engine ignition.
Liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. This planned 45-minute hold is designed to allow the launch conductor Scott Barney and the team time to address any final issues before proceeding with the terminal count. This evening's 19-minute launch window opens at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good evening and welcome to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. I'm Matt Donovan and I'll be your commentator for tonight's launch. Later in the broadcast, you'll be hearing the voice of Steve Agate as he provides us with launch vehicle ascent data. Also later, I'll be joined by Lieutenant Mark McCulloch from the United States Air Force, Global Positioning System Directorate. Due to the long duration of tonight's mission, our live coverage will conclude approximately 25 minutes after liftoff. Tonight's launch of GPS-2F5 will provide the fifth Block 2F satellite to the constellation. GPS, or Global Positioning System, is a space-based positioning system consisting of a minimum of a 24-satellite constellation providing navigation and timing information to military and civilian users worldwide. The signals are so accurate that time can be measured to within a millionth of a second, velocity within a fraction of a mile per hour, and location to within 100 feet. Built by Boeing, the next generation 2F series provides improved capabilities for military and civil users and a new third civil signal, L5, for commercial aviation and safety of life applications. The launch team recently received a final weather briefing and was told the weather is within the launch commit criteria for this evening's liftoff. The weather briefing provided the following information. Our probability of violating launch constraints is 20%. Ground winds are 17 knots out of the east-southeast and the temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're proceeding towards liftoff with a planned T0 of 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
L-minus 17 minutes.
ULA is using the Delta IV Medium Plus 4.2 configuration to launch the GPS-2F5 mission. This is the 25th Delta IV Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle mission since the inaugural flight in 2002. The Delta IV is produced in Decatur, Alabama, and is comprised of a common booster core powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RS-68 engine, two Alliant Tech Systems solid rocket motors, and a Delta cryogenic second stage powered by the Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10 B2 engine. The GPS-2F5 satellite was encapsulated inside a 4-meter diameter payload fairing on September 25th. The encapsulated payload fairing was transported to Space Launch Complex 37 and mated to the Delta IV launch vehicle on February 5th. In preparation for launch, the Mobile Service Tower, or MST, was rolled back approximately 10 hours ago, revealing the Delta IV launch vehicle. The 33-story MST weighs over 9 million pounds and is rolled to its launch position 300 feet north of the Delta IV. The Delta IV stands 206 feet tall, or about 20 stories, and weighs approximately 721,000 pounds fully fueled. The Delta IV delivers more than 821,000 pounds of thrust off the launch pad. For those watching the broadcast, you're looking at video taken earlier today at Space Launch Complex 37. This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding, and we continue to progress towards launch at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The animation you'll see after liftoff is referred to as Satellite Toolkit, or STK. STK uses real-time telemetry data during the flight to track the path of the launch vehicle beyond the range of ground-based cameras. While the team completes final preparations, let's take a closer look at tonight's flight.
The following profile details the important events of this mission using approximate times.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Main engine ignition. And liftoff.
The Delta RS-68 main engine and two strap-on solid rocket motors ignite to lift the vehicle away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Delta begins its initial pitch and yaw maneuvers to attain the proper ascent profile and minimize aerodynamic loads. Delta IV reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound, at 47 seconds. At 60 seconds, the vehicle reaches maximum dynamic pressure. The strap-on solid rocket motors, or SRMs, burn out approximately 96 seconds into flight. At 1 minute and 40 seconds, the SRMs are jettisoned. Approaching main engine cutoff, the Delta IV is burning propellant at the rate of approximately 1,050 pounds per second, flying at more than 83 miles in altitude, 237 miles downrange, and traveling at more than 11,554 miles per hour. Main engine cutoff occurs just over 4 minutes into the flight. 7 seconds after main engine cutoff, the first stage is jettisoned. Second stage engine ignition takes place at 4 minutes 28 seconds into the flight. At 4 minutes 38 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned. Following the first cutoff of the second stage engine, at approximately 12 minutes, the mission enters a coast phase. Just over 21 minutes into flight, the second stage engine is reignited for a second burn. Following the second cutoff of the second stage engine, the mission enters an extended coast phase. At 3 hours and 21 minutes, the second stage engine is restarted for a third and final burn. The final second stage engine cutoff occurs after a 98-second burn. At 3 hours 33 minutes into the mission, the second stage releases the GPS-2F satellite for the United States Air Force.
ALC, start T4 master script.
Master script running.
ALC, establish T4 status screen cleared.
This is Delta Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. Today's flight is the 52nd launch of an operational GPS satellite since the first lifted off from Cape Canaveral on February 14, 1989, riding atop the inaugural Delta II rocket. Over a span of 20 years, ULA's Delta II launch vehicle delivered the first 48 Global Positioning System satellites to orbit. With the debut of the 2F series, the next generation of GPS satellites, ULA's larger and more powerful Atlas V and Delta IV evolved expendable launch vehicles were called into service. To date, 3 GPS 2F satellites have launched on Delta IV launch vehicles and 1 on an Atlas V launch vehicle, demonstrating the mission capability and manifest flexibility that ULA provides.
L minus 10 minutes. All communications switch to channel 1. All personnel and visitors remain in present position until launch. Maintain operational silence in the LCC.
Terminal count briefing. If a condition exceeds a launch constraint any time after terminal count status check, the observer shall announce hold, hold, hold on channel 1, identify their station, and briefly state the reason for the hold.
L minus 9 minutes.
LC, this is FMA.
Go FMA.
Primary wind load relief file has been loaded into the RIFCA and verified. Internal checksum 76 Foxtrot 7.
Roger. All steps are complete prior to the status check at L minus 7.
LC, RC on 1.
Go RC.
Roger that. We have a launch window management plan time to end of window. That's 0159 Zulu.
Roger, 0159 Zulu.
Good copy.
L minus 8 minutes.